welcome to #ShareAStory. My name's Colin Campbell and I'm an actor and a dramatherapist who works for Roundabout. Today I'd like to share a story with you called Tom Tit Tot. Once upon a time there was a woman and she baked 5 pies, but she'd left them in the oven too long, so the crust had gone really hard. So she shouted, "Daughter, daughter, you take these pies down to the cellar, please. It's nice and damp down there. The crust will go soft again. We'll leave them down there for a couple of hours." So the daughter took the pies on a tray down to the cellar. Just as she was putting them on the shelf in the cellar, the daughter looked at the pies and thought, hard crust or not, they look lovely. So she took a bite out of one. And indeed, it was delicious. So she took another bite and another, until she'd eaten a whole pie. And then she took a bite out of another, and another, and another, till she'd eaten 2 pies. Then she ate the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. The daughter ate all the pies. She crept back upstairs and just went about her business, very quietly. But 2 hours later, the mother shouted, "Daughter, go and get me one of them pies. I am famished. They're bound to be soft by now." So the daughter pretended to go down to the cellar, and she came back up and pretended to come back up and said, "Sorry, Mum, hard as rock. Sorry, can't eat them." The mother said, "No, surely they've been down there for 2 hours. It's bound to be soft by now." She said, "Sorry, Mum, no, hard as nails. You'd spread your teeth on them." The mother said, "I don't care. I'm famished. Get me one of them pies." And then the daughter whimpered and said, "Sorry, Mum, but they've gone." She said, "What do you mean gone? They've been stolen?" She said, "No, I ate them." The mother said, "You ate all the pies?" She said, "Yes." The mother, shocked, disbelieving, took her spinning wheel and she went out onto the front step and she began to spin. And as she spun, she sang, "My daughter hath ate 5 pies today. My daughter hath ate 5 pies today." Now it just so happened that the king was riding on his horse through the village, and he said, "What's that, ma'am? What are you singing? Can't quite hear you." And the mother, a bit embarrassed about her very greedy daughter, sang, "My daughter hath spun 5 skeins today. My daughter hath spun 5 skeins today." The king said, "Stars are mine. 5 skeins of wool? Your daughter did that? Well, that is remarkable. I've never heard of anything like that before in my life. I tell you what, I'm looking for a queen. It sounds like she'd make me a really good wife." And the mother thought this would be a good idea. The king said, on one condition: for 11 months of the year, she can have all the victuals she wants, she can have all the gowns she wants, she can keep the company that she wants, she can go to wonderful balls and dances, but for the final month of the year, she has to spin me 5 skeins of wool every day. And the mother thought, well, that sounds like a good bargain. What a great match for my daughter. She'll be the queen. Ha ha! And the daughter thought this would be good as well. And as for those 5 skeins of wool every day, the king was bound to forget about those. And so it was. They were married, and it was a wonderful, grand marriage. And indeed, the daughter, now the queen, well, she ate lovely victuals. She went to lovely dances in these beautiful gowns, and she kept all the company that she wished to keep. Now, in the 11th month, it was coming towards, the final day of that month, and the daughter started to think, well, I wonder if the king remembers, about those 5 skeins. Nah, he's probably forgot. But on the last day of the month, he took her to a room in the castle that he'd never showed her before. And there was all this flax piled up and a spinning wheel. And he went, "This is where you'll be tomorrow, spinning your 5 skeins. I'll lock you in here in the morning with some delicious food. And if there's not 5 skeins of wool spun at the end of the day, well, I'll chop your head off." And the daughter thought, oh no. And so it was the next day. She was locked in the room with some food and all this flax in a spinning wheel. Now, she didn't know how to spin at all, and she thought, no, what am I going to do? This is terrible. Oh, it's been a lovely 11 months, but I suppose now it's going to end. And she started to cry and weep and bawl. But then she heard a knocking at the window. She opened the window, and in came this funny little impet with red coal-like eyes and a tail that spun round and round. And he looked at her, curious, and he said, "What's the matter with you?" And she told him all her troubles about the pies and the 5 skeins of wool and her bargain with the king. And he said, "Well, I can help you out there. I'll take the flax every day and I'll bring it back. And every evening you'll get 3 guesses at my name." And she said, "Oh, okay. Well, that sounds good. But what if I don't guess your name?" And he said, "Well, then you will be mine." The daughter flinched. But then she thought, well, I've got a whole month to think of his name. So I'll do that. I'm bound to think of his name by then. So the impet, with his whirring tail, took the flax and off he went. And he came back in the evening, and there were the skeins of wool, all spun beautifully. And he said, "Go on then, you got your 3 guesses." And she said, "Okay, is your name Ned?" He went, "No." His tail spun. He said, "What about Bill?" "No." His tail spun even faster. She said, "Well, what about Mark?" "No." And his tail spun again. "Ha ha ha! See you tomorrow." And so it was. Every day he would come and collect the flax. He would come back with the 5 skeins, beautifully spun every night, and she would have 3 guesses at his name. Now, it so happened, this went on for the whole month, until the last day, or the last day but one. He brought the 5 skeins back, and he said, "Go on then, guess me your name, guess my name, guess my name." And she said, "Okay, well, is it Nicodemus?" "Nope." His tail spun. "Is it Samuel?" "Nope." His tail spun even faster. And she said, "Is it Methuselah?" And his tail spun really fast, and he said, "No." "Ha ha! Tomorrow, remember, you don't guess my name, you will be mine." And he looked at her very malevolently. And she said, "Oh no, I've only got 1 day to guess." And then the king came in, saw the 5 skeins of wool, and he went, "Well, tomorrow's the last day. Tonight I think I'll eat here with you." "Oh, that'd be good," she thought. And so he did. And they sat down to eat. And then he started to laugh. And she said, "What's up?" He said, "Oh, today. Today was really funny. We were out hunting, and well, we're in this part of my kingdom that I've never really been before, and I found myself by this chalk pit, and I could hear this sort of funny singing going on, and I looked in the chalk pit, and there was this funny creature, like a little imp, and he had a tail that was spinning round and round, and he was spinning away, like you were all day. He was spinning away, and he was singing this song, "Nimmy, nimmy, not, my name's Tom Tit Tot. Nimmy, nimmy, not, my name's Tom Tit Tot." And the daughter, the queen, was so overjoyed to hear this, she couldn't believe her luck, but she kept it under wraps for the king. And he said, "Well, that was a lovely supper. Tomorrow's your last day. So I'll see you tomorrow night." So the next day, the little impet came in, took away the flax, and he went, "Remember, you don't guess my name. Tonight you're going to be mine." And she waited for him to come all day, and he came back. And he put the flax down. And he came up to her and he went, "Go on, guess my name." And she went, pretending to be scared, "Is it Solomon? He went, no. And he got closer, and his tail span faster. She went, is it Zebedee? And he went, no. And he got closer, and his tail span faster. And then she went, nimmy nimmy not, your name's Tom Tit Tot. And he went, hurr! And he shot through the window and was never seen of again. And that's the story of Tom Tit Tot. Now then, I hope you've enjoyed this story from Roundabout Dramatherapy. Storytelling and story making are at the heart of how Roundabout ensures that everyone's issues and voices can be heard. Now, if you would like to make a donation to support the work of the charity, they would be very grateful for your support. A small gift will make a big difference to the children and the adults that we support.